Do what?
I forgot to.
Now
unmute.
we're
Oh,
here.
are
I
you-
missed it all.
How are y'all at reading lips?
Yeah, how was that?
Pretty
for,
good,
I
I
hope you had your
bet.
class caption
Right.
on.
We were just saying, welcome to our Thanksgiving Eve or pre-Thanksgiving
Hump Day.
Hump Day
Yeah.
episode of Trail Talk. And Stefan, hey.
Happy
glad-
Thanksgiving,
Happy
Stefan.
Thanksgiving. Haven't seen you in a few weeks and I'm sure glad you joined us today. So anyway, guys, welcome to Trail Talk Thanksgiving. It has kind of a story title
It does.
sound to
Kind of
it,
sounds like we're about to give you the lowdown.
or a Hallmark movie
Started
title.
watching them
Oh,
yesterday.
there you
I
go.
did.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
that's what it
I
sounds
did.
like, a Hallmark movie. Anyway, we are so glad you could join us today. We're in our classroom studio here at the Chisholm Trail Heritage Center in Duncan, Oklahoma. And I am Edie.
I'm Mary.
And we're gonna share some Thanksgiving history and thoughts and, you know,
Thankfulness.
something probably very profound as always. On Trail Talk, you never know what you're gonna hear.
That's right.
So let's just kick it off. Yeah, our first slide, we have this, I mean, this is probably a picture many of you have seen maybe in a textbook
Mhm.
or a
Very iconic
it
image.
is an iconic image exactly of, you know, the first Thanksgiving,
Mhm.
which we have some recorded information
Right.
about that. There are discrepancies as far as what history tells us about the relationships between the Pilgrims and the Native Americans who were there. But I mean, it seems as though some people wrote the way they recorded it, that there really was some camaraderie
Right.
and
Between
some
the two.
sharing
Uh-huh.
of some things.
Mhm.
And so anyway, in
1621.
1621, yeah, this is, I can't, how many years is that?
That's several.
20,
Well, that's
21, 16, is that 400 years
yeah,
ago?
400.
400 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
First,
first,
the 400th
yes, 400,
celebration, celebratory.
yes, Thanksgiving. And I mean, I think that's pretty cool. I
It
mean,
is.
honestly, I've always thought that Thanksgiving was unique because it's not a gift giving time.
Mhm.
There's no, there's no special person or animal who
Associated,
visits
yeah.
or, brings it.
Like an Easter bunny.
Yeah,
and
or
things.
or Santa,
Right.
anything like that. It's just really about sharing a meal and being thankful, grateful.
I've
for
always just thought of
all
it
the
as a
things.
family holiday. I mean, it's just a
Mhm,
traditional family holiday,
Mhm.
you know?
mhm.
There's nothing expected. There's nothing necessarily that required of anyone. It's just
Exactly,
time
yeah.
together.
Nothing but a roast turkey and some pumpkin pie,
Yeah.
Well,
Well, you gotta eat.
mashed
Everyone's
potatoes,
gotta
gravy.
eat.
Wait, I'm going through the whole menu in my head right now.
Smorgasbord.
Yeah,
And then by next week, of course, we'll
I-
be tired of it. She's drooling.
I'm having to wipe the corner of my mouth here. But yes, so the Pilgrims, you guys know, the Pilgrims came to the United States in search of religious freedom. They were being, I guess, basically told that they had to follow a
Follow a certain.
a certain religion,
belief.
the Church of England. And so they left and they came to the New World. That had been, there's some explorers had been
Right,
here,
right.
that word had gotten back that there's this land across
The New
the
World.
ocean. Yeah, and so they ventured out. It was a 66-day boat ride.
Now that
That's-
sounds.
That seems like, and
And it's not like a cruise ship.
right, yeah. And you know what? This just occurred to me. I mean, the jet stream has always been the jet stream. We didn't really get what it was, until the 1940s, but they were going against the
Mhm. The jet stream, the natural jet stream.
the natural flow of the wind. So I'm sure it was a
booger.
booger, a trip to remember.
Yeah.
With some seasickness for
Oh,
sure.
I'm sure.
But they had 102 passengers. Of course, they were sailing on the Mayflower.
Mhm.
I mean, these, all of these words are just so, I go back to
Grade
childhood.
school and the little plays. we used
Yeah,
to
and the
do.
little black hats with the gold buckles
Or
and the
your
white
little
band.
handprint turkeys.
Yes, all
yes.
of those things. I mean, anyway, but it was really they landed in 1620, so it was the following year when they had the first celebration. But I mean, they spent that first winter on the boat, and about half of them perished from diseases, exposure to the weather, all sorts of things like that. Just a very difficult time. And so those who made it through to that next year, they had planted crops and they were able to harvest a crop. But they did that with the help of some Native Americans.
Exactly.
They were from there were two, the Wampanoags and where's this, what's the Abenaki tribe. There was actually someone from that tribe who spoke
In
English.
Uh-huh.
And so by chance or providence, they were taught how to survive in this new world, this new place where things grew differently.
Right, they weren't what they were used to.
Yeah, the land was different. There were just a lot of things that they had to learn. But you guys might also be familiar with the Wampanoag chief, what was his name? Powhatan?
Tucson? How? No.
Oh, that, and then Squanto.
Squanto.
And Squanto, I don't know if you guys have read that story before. I always thought this was a great story. I used to read it to my kids. Where Squanto was part of the Pawtuxet tribe. He was kidnapped by an English sea captain, taken to England, and he learned to speak English and all those things. But he escaped from London, came back to this new world, and he taught the penguins. I have no idea where they do wear little black and white outfits.
Oh, the penguins.
I don't know where that came from. The pilgrims. Yeah. How to cultivate corn, get sap from maple trees, catch fish in the rivers, avoid poisonous plants. I mean, think
How to
about it.
survive, pretty much. I
Exactly.
mean, everything they needed.
Exactly, how to survive. And so anyway, they ended up having like this kind of a friendship, but at the very least an agreement or an understanding between each other. Yeah, that they would be friendly toward each other. It lasted about 50 years. And then I'm sure there were more and more settlers coming who were not as agreeable, who were much more forceful.
You have those ones that come in that want to rock the boat, and
Yeah,
have it their way.
exactly. And so I guess things just went downhill from there as far as how the Native Americans were treated here in the United
harmony
States.
between the two.
Mhm. But those horrendous acts that English, or not English, the European settlers did to all of the native peoples who were here, it's inexcusable. But the tradition of Thanksgiving, thankfully, has endured.
Right.
And
that survived the time.
Yes,
rather than the treatment that they had endured.
Exactly. So the early friendships, I mean, I feel like it's so sad that those ended up kind of being betrayed after a period of time. But the first festival, Chief Massasoit, that was his name, the Wampanoag Chief Massasoit. Anyway, that first one lasted 3 days. I don't know about y'all, but I don't think I could eat Thanksgiving food for 3 days. I would explode.
Be a lot of napping.
I guess. What's that thing? Turkey. There's some chemical in turkey that makes you literally sleepy.
What is it?
I can't.
Can you
think
look
of
it up
that.
for us?
We'll have
We'll
our
have our
research person
guru back
Bailey look that up for us. We'll have
Yes, we have
that.
Bailey behind the camera
Yeah.
today.
Anyway, there was a man named Edward Winslow, and he chronicled the tryptophan.
Yep,
Tryptophan,
Yep.
that's the one.
that's the sleepy
Yeah.
stuff.
So if you doze off after a big old meal of turkey, don't think anything of it.
Yeah, you weren't poisoned or anything.
Yeah, who can fight the chemicals? You can't do it. You
No.
can't do it. But anyway, the Edward Winslow wrote a little information about the first Thanksgiving meal.
Mhm.
And of course, he mentions the fruits of our labors, those first crops that they planted and harvested. They killed fowl, which could have been turkey,
Could have been.
or it could have been other
Right.
types
Bird.
of birds that were there in that part of the country. They said some 90 men. They called Chief Massasoit, he referred to him as a king,
Mm-hmm.
and they killed 5 deer.
Right.
And there was so much plenty, but yet by the goodness of God, we are so far from want that we often wish you partakers of our plenty. He was kind of writing it down as like maybe a letter to send back to his
Mhm.
European family,
Right.
and just to let them know we have more than enough.
More than what we could possibly. eat
Yeah.
here.
So they do say that probably sweets like pies and cakes and things like that didn't happen that first year.
No.
There was not any real sugar left
Probably
over
not a
from their
dessert
trip.
table there.
Yeah, but they still had more than enough. But then they didn't have another Thanksgiving until 2 years later because there was a drought.
Mhm. In 60 or in 22.
Yeah, and so in 1623, the drought had moved on,
Mhm.
and they were able to raise more crops, and so they had another Thanksgiving there. And Governor William Bradford, William Bradford, these names you don't think about, until you do a little deep dive
Oh,
on
little
Thanksgiving.
dig.
Yeah. But that's kind of where it all began. So we're early 1600s. Then let's fast forward to colonial America, the Revolutionary War, the early days of the United States as a country. George Washington and other leaders during the Revolutionary War called for days of Thanksgiving multiple times
Mhm.
during the year.
Right.
Nothing like official, but
Just a
Just-
proclamation.
right. And just acknowledging, a lot of people were very strong believers in God, and they wanted to give thanks
Mhm.
to the provider of their blessings. And so they set aside these days for Thanksgiving. And he also, in 1789, he issued the first Thanksgiving proclamation by the national government, because that was the year that they ratified the Constitution. And he thought it was a good thing to be thankful for.
Right.
The war is over. We
Mhm.
have established our new country. We have a constitution. We're going places.
We're moving forward.
Yeah. And his successors, Adams and Madison, also designated days during their
Mhm.
presidencies, but nobody said this
Like
is the
specific
day.
date.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, this is, like we said, 1789, probably rolling into the early 1800s. In 1817, New York became the first state to set aside a day for Thanksgiving, kind of designated an annual holiday. And then in 1827, there was a magazine editor and prolific writer. I am not familiar with this woman's name.
I'm not either, but I am familiar with her little nursery. rhyme.
Yes, exactly. Sarah Josepha Hale wrote Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Mhm.
You guys have all sang that,
I'm
played it
sure.
on the piano or something. And anyway, she launched a campaign to establish Thanksgiving as a national holiday for 36 years.
She pushed for that.
This woman was serious. She was committed.
Yes, she was.
In fact, it earned her the nickname the Mother of Thanksgiving.
She sent letters to governors, senators, presidents, other politicians.
Yeah, I mean, 36 years, that's a long time. But Abraham Lincoln, let's go to their next slide. In 1863, finally had, right in the middle of the Civil War, literally
He's like,
halfway through the Civil War.
Why not now?
Yeah, he said that the last, I'm pretty sure he said the last, the final Thursday in November
Mhm.
would be set aside as a day of Thanksgiving. Entreating all Americans to commend to God's tender care all those who have become widows, orphans, mourners, or sufferers in the lamentable civil strife, and to heal the wounds of the nation.
Yep.
Which, I mean, as divided and angry and just at odds people in our country seem now.
Yeah.
I just feel like in the midst of a civil war, for him to acknowledge that there are people who need care and we should still love one another.
Mhm.
I just, well said,
It's a
President
very, it's a
Lincoln.
very Lincoln thing.
A very Lincoln thing to do. Anyway, I found this picture online. I thought this was a really cool kind of
Montage.
right, of and just kind of this was a poster that was put out during those
During
days,
that time.
during that time. And so I thought that, and it looks very Civil War-esque
Mhm.
with the drawings and everything. There's a General Washington
There
right
it
there in the
is.
background.
It is.
Yeah, anyway, just a really great picture.
I like it.
And so let's roll forward from there. He had made Thanksgiving, Lincoln said the last Thursday,
Final Thursday.
right? Well,
And it was.
it was until 1939, FDR, president in those days, he wanted to move the holiday up a week in an attempt to spur retail sales during the Great Depression. I honestly, I say that is a little stroke of genius. I thought that was a very smart thing for him to do to try to help the
The
country.
economy.
Right, the economy, in the midst of this Great Depression, let's give everyone an extra week to buy things for Christmas.
Mhm.
Already Christmas was commercialized,
Right.
obviously.
Obviously.
And so let's give people an extra week or an extra week to save money. So then they would have more to spend
Mhm.
for Christmas.
Mhm.
It's like a marketing stroke of genius.
It became known as Frank's Giving.
Yeah, yeah.
Because of the Franklin.
Yeah,
D.
Franklin. Anyway, it met with opposition, and in 1941, the president reluctantly signed a bill making Thanksgiving the fourth Thursday in November. So sometimes it's the last
Right.
Thursday,
Just
like
depends
it
on
is
how many
this year.
Thursdays we have.
This year, it's the last Thursday,
Mhm.
but in some other years, it could be the next to the last
Mhm.
Thursday. It just depends.
Depends.
Yeah, so I guess that was a fair compromise for him to
Sometimes you
make.
got it and sometimes it's not there.
But I mean, on TV or social media, you guys have seen people giving away Thanksgiving dinners to individuals, providing a community Thanksgiving dinner for people. This is a long held tradition.
Oh,
And I thought that this picture from the days of the Great Depression depicted, I mean, first of
Probably.
all, they are eating on like glass plates and
Right.
drinking from real coffee mugs
they all
here.
have their pie.
They've got a
There's
slice of
cot in the
pie.
back here
Yeah.
with a blanket.
Exactly. I mean, during the days of the Great Depression, people were starving. There were
Mhm.
literally soup lines
Mhm.
for people who did not have enough food to eat. So can you imagine what a Thanksgiving meal, a full-on meal would have been like for people? So I just kind of I wanted to
You can
add
see
this
there, too,
picture.
they're all so skinny. You don't see one heavy over. I mean, they're all
Exactly.
just.
Yeah. If you have the time or the means, find a way to help someone else during Thanksgiving who doesn't have those same means.
Oh, there's so many things you can do to volunteer your time
Mm-hmm.
or help serve somewhere or deliver a
Exactly.
meal or Just check on somebody.
Right, yeah, if you know people who are gonna be alone, don't let them be alone.
Mhm.
Invite them to join you. It's just, it's
Everyone has so much food anyway. What's another mouth?
exactly, and that's the heart of Thanksgiving,
Mhm.
is doing things for others. To me, that's kind of how it always feels to me. So anyway, enough of the bleeding heart Edie isms of Thanksgiving. I could not
Love
resist.
it, love
Mary
it,
and I
love
were
it.
talking about this. This is one of my, I mean, we would go to school when I was a kid, go to school Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of Thanksgiving week.
Yeah.
Thursday was the first day you could sleep in on break, and
Mhm.
I was up
I know.
and sitting in the chair
Yep.
with the TV on
Yep.
at 8 o'clock,
Yep.
watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Day
I love
parade.
it. It's,
So much.
I don't even know.
I
It's
know.
just like,
I love there was always a university from Texas. It might have
marching
been
band.
the Texas University. They had a dancers
Mhm.
who would always do, and then the Rockettes
The Rockettes
would always
come.
be there and do those
There's
high
always
kicks.
the actors and singers and things on the float
Yes, the
singing.
people riding the
You know,
floats.
sometimes their music stops before they stop
They're
their
back.
lip sync, you know.
Yeah,
and-
because they're lip syncing.
Yeah.
I mean, so great. And there's always like Charlie Brown and Snoopy and Garfield and just,
Spider-Man.
oh yeah, I just so many, and the turkey. I mean, just an iconic
Yes. All
part
the
of
floats.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and it's so sad though when it's really windy there,
Oh,
and sometimes they don't. Some of the floats can't go out, but then
Mhm.
sometimes you see those poor people down there, and they're just fighting with their whole might, you know, just
Exact-
holding on to that thing, or people are just down there just bundled up with 12 layers of clothes on.
Yeah, it's always been a bucket list thing for me to go to New York
Oh, yeah.
City and watch the parade.
For
I have
sure.
friends who have done that. I was always like, oh,
I wonder how early they get up to go.
yeah, yeah.
Because it says they have like 2 to 3 million spectators along the route.
And it's only 2.5 miles.
Yeah. I mean, so they're packed in.
There are packed
Yes, there's
in.
risers and bleachers.
I have a feeling they probably go past some, like hotels or something, so
Oh,
people
you can
can go
get
to
a
the,
room.
yeah, and look from their window view. I don't know. I
That'd
just,
be the way to do it.
but I see you guys smiling out there.
I
You
know.
know what we're
know.
talking
You
about.
can catch, I guarantee you, tomorrow morning,
Mhm.
Edie and I will be up.
Yep, that's right.
So if
I'll
you need someone to
watch.
talk to, just text us and we can chat about the parade.
Did you see that float? Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that brings us up to Thanksgiving 2021. Here we
Aw.
are, a beautiful laid out turkey, the
Nicely
candles, the
colored.
mashed potatoes, the Brussels sprout dish here. I mean,
Sweet
yeah, sweet potatoes. We have it all, cranberries.
Mhm.
And
Yum.
yum
Yummy,
is
yummy.
right. This is a nap waiting
feast.
to happen right here.
That's a nap.
A big honk of turkey there.
That's right.
But you guys know the other traditions, like the president always pardons 1 or 2 turkeys.
Sends them to the
Two-
retirement
Is
farm.
it 2? They send, yeah. They're always the white ones.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they always have there's not wild turkeys. It's the white turkeys. Their feathers are always white. I always see the little pardoning thing. Yeah. Be free, little
Be free, little
turkeys.
turkey.
Yeah. I just thought, so this year, we're teaching about the wild turkey. And it's not a myth. It is true that Benjamin Franklin
Mhm.
wanted the turkey to be our national bird.
Mhm.
He felt like it was a bird of majesty and
Yeah.
yeah,
Over the bald eagle.
and courage.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I believe those are both words that
Yeah.
he used to describe the wild turkey. I just think that is just,
I just can't imagine.
I can't either. Pictures, just
The-
close your eyes for a minute. Think of all the things where the eagles are, the bald eagle. And
Like a
now
turkey on top of a
insert,
flagpole.
yeah, insert the turkey.
Yeah.
On this gobbler, his little red thing and the beard hanging off and all that. It's amazing. No offense to Benjamin Franklin or any of
No.
his family
Right. Yeah, no,
We mean, it's
we
just-
mean no harm.
yeah, it's just, we just kind of think it's funny. But even though we give credit to the Pilgrims in 1621 for the very first Thanksgiving, there are other accounts of celebrations of
Right, of
harvest,
thank-
crops.
and people coming together.
Yeah, even like in ancient history, Romans, Egyptians,
Spanish.
it goes way back. And so we're just we're not going to discredit any of those as, not
We're just
being
kind of
original
summarizing.
Thanksgiving. Yeah. And kind of going back with where the Pilgrims came here and just kind of starting from there.
Mhm.
Because there have been, I can think of stories in the Bible where, there were celebrations held at the end of a harvest, and there were, there's always been acknowledged a deity of some
Right,
sort,
right.
for the good crops they
Giving
had.
thanks.
Yeah, and
Right.
giving thanks and stuff like that. But, just kind of where it kind of came here and got to be a part
Kind
of
their thoughts and
who we are in the United States. Our son Andy lived in London for several years, and even though that historically it's believed that even the Puritans and some of the people who ended up here celebrated something like that over there, they don't celebrate Thanksgiving in London. He only, if he found some Americans who were there, or had some
He got to
friends,
participate.
he could have a little Thanksgiving feast there with those people, but otherwise.
It was a Hunger Man.
Yeah, it
Hunger Man
was just,
Thanksgiving dinner.
they don't even get off work.
It's just not.
Yeah, it's
not-
just
not a holiday
doesn't-
Subway.
doesn't happen. But anyway, we are thankful for so many
So many
things
things.
this year. Let's go to that next slide, Bailey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big fat queue, and she just, she might have had turkey for lunch
Oh,
today. I'm wondering.
Ah.
I'm wondering. No, I was thinking seriously about so many things that I'm really thankful for this year. My family, always family, the gatherings. We didn't get together with our family for Thanksgiving or Christmas last year because Thanksgiving, I was exposed to COVID. Christmas, I had COVID. Our family we just didn't get to. So we're so excited to be all together in one place
Mhm.
for Christmas this year. I'm thankful 2 of my kids found great jobs this year.
Right. Yeah.
We have a new daughter-in-law this
See?
year.
Families are
Yeah,
growing.
exactly. So we're so excited. AJ and Camille got married. We have a lot of dogs added to our family this
Yeah,
year.
dogs
Anthony
are
and Haley
family.
got 2
Dogs are always
dogs. AJ and
family.
Camille have a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andy and Abby got jobs.
So many
It's just
things.
so many things.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about people who recovered
Mhm.
from not just COVID, but so many other illnesses this year.
Right.
People who didn't. We lost loved ones this past year, but how blessed are we to have memories, precious memories to hang on to. And that's a blessing, and we can be thankful for those memories. And so many laughs. I hope you guys have laughed when our
We might laugh
attempts,
at
our
ourselves.
attempts at jokes.
We might
We
laugh
get
at we
it.
might laugh at ourselves more than you guys find
Exactly,
humor in us.
Yeah, but we've had so many great times. And so many, I'm thinking about all the amazing guests and things we've learned over the
Mhm.
past year on Trail Talk.
Several.
I am just blown away. But as we said in the promotional, you guys who view this, you are the ones that we are most thankful for, because you're the ones who make this worthwhile
Right.
and keep us.
And people like
keep us-
Stefan.
And people like Stefan. We thank you guys so much for watching Trail Talk and for supporting us. And you know what? If you have any ideas for future episodes, send us a little message or
Yeah.
put something in the comments.
We're always Edie and I, we're the ones around here that we're pretty much up for anything.
Exactly.
If they ever
yeah.
need something done around here, they come to Edie
Yeah,
and I.
yeah. So we would love to hear ideas that you have. I kind of have a list going for ideas for next year, but anyway, thank you guys for watching. We hope you have a blessed Thanksgiving.
Yes, enjoy your time with one another.
Yes, for sure. And be sure and join us next week. We'll be here on Wednesday next week. I think it's like I can't think of what it is, History Heroes maybe or something. I don't know. You guys will be surprised like we will.
I know, right? We're on break.
Yeah.
As soon as we're out of here, we're on break.
Exactly. Exactly. So anyway, guys,
Thanks for joining us, guys.
thank you so much. And happy Thanksgiving and
Happy
happy
trails.
trails.
The rest of fun.